What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 100 of SLC Puck. We're just getting started here. I already have things flying all over the set. But that's just how excited I am. Hey, welcome, everybody, to a very special edition of SLC Puck. It is amazing to be with you guys here today. It's April 16th, 2025. By my math, that's 1 year and 1 day from the first ever episode of SLC Puck. I don't know if you remember that one. I don't know how many people were day one listeners. Probably a few, right? Probably just a few. But in case you forgot, by the way, my name's Austin Facer. Thank you for joining me. I've been the host for all 100 episodes of SLC Puck, just so you know. But in case you forgot, April 15th, 2024, I wore this exact same wardrobe for episode 1 of SLC Puck. It was in a basement, much like this one is in a basement, but a different basement. I recorded the first one from where I live in Salt Lake City. I'm not going to tell you guys where, because I know some of you guys want to wear my skin, and make a mask out of my face. I'm kidding, of course. But, yeah, I'll keep that to myself. But here, we're in SLC Puck Studios. It's been the home for SLC Puck for probably 93 of the 90, or of the 100 episodes. So it's pretty cool. This is probably going to be the permanent home of SLC Puck, regardless of how big this show gets. And listen, Joe Rogan, we're coming for you. We're coming for you. You better get ready to give up the crown. That Spotify deal, that $100 million Spotify deal is going to hit so good when it comes in. But until then, here's what I need you guys to do. You can support the show. And, I know I'm missing. Here we go. Here I am. You can support the show by going to slcpuck.shop. There's a lot of great merch there. I have it pretty much at cost, but if you'd like, you can make a donation. It's a great way to support the show. And I've got all the heavy hitters right here. These are the top selling items: the trucker hat, the mythical snow creature tank, the upside down hat, which has been a banger. By the way, someone who's been a very loyal listener of the show for quite a while, and a good buddy of mine, who I've seen him at watch parties, all that good stuff. He asked if he could buy my SLC Puck hat off my head, kind of like a game-worn jersey situation. I declined because that one's sentimental to me. It's sweaty too, and it has pins and stuff that I like. I really like. You can get those pins here, by the way, at slcpuck.shop. But anyway, yeah, someone asked if they could buy my hat the other day. And I know we're kind of like in Jordan, you can buy, and that's the other thing, guys. This episode's going to be a little different because I'm live streaming this. So I'll take the recording and drop it into the usual podcast situation on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. And so it should be pretty normal that way, but it might sound a little different here and there because I am live. I do have the chat going. I can see I have a few people in there already, so I'll be stopping sporadically to address chats. But before we really get rolling here, I'll just lay out the lay of the land here for episode 100 of SLC Puck. Just kind of want it to be like a fun, happy celebration. I think there's a lot of stuff to talk about. The Utah Hockey Club wrapped up their season last night with a loss to the St. Louis Blues, which was a bit of a bummer. And so we'll go over all this stuff, right? We'll go, as you may know from watching the show, I do shows twice a week, Wednesdays and Sundays. So that'll all be the same. I'll just address it like the news, like everything that's happened since Sunday. There's been 2 games, the final 2 games of the Utah Hockey Club's inaugural season. So I'll recap that a little bit, give my thoughts on those games and the end of the season. And then, I want to take a minute to just talk about 100 episodes. It's a nice, round, sexy number. So, I want to talk about the show a little bit and maybe just express some gratitude. I don't think I'll be able to express enough gratitude as much as I feel. And I probably will get emotional too. I know that's always a hit for people on the show. who watch it to see me cry like a little baby every once in a while, right? People love that. But we'll get to that in just a second. But I think we'll wrap up the show. We'll just go for like, maybe I could see this going for like an hour. So if you want to stick with me that long, appreciate it. But I'll just quickly do the show as normal for just a few minutes, and then we'll jump into like some questions in the chat. 3 questions in now. I'm happy to scroll back up and get to them. But I'll just I do have a special guest, and I'll just ask my guest to just sit right there for 1 second until I call them over. But yeah, we'll just recap the last 2 games as usual. So Utah Hockey Club, like a couple of high-scoring games to finish the year, right, on the road. First of all, the Utah Hockey Club exacted revenge against the Nashville Predators on Monday. You know those Predators, the guys who suck. They're the worst team in the NHL, but they beat the Utah Hockey Club in a shootout in the home finale, which was annoying. The Utah Hockey Club, like I said, exacted their revenge on Monday with a 7-3 victory. That was highlighted by a 4-point performance by Clayton Keller, which got him on the doorstep of the 90-point total. It was kind of funny. I did Nashcast with Tyson Nash on SEG Plus. And by the way, check out those replays if you don't mind. And we were talking a little bit about Keller towards the end of the game. We were talking about his point total. I believe he had a point or maybe a goal and assist in that game. And I was like, yeah, he could get to 90 this year. And I think Tyson was a little bit skeptical. He's like, yeah, we'll see. And, because he was 5 points away after that home finale, right? And I was like, just you wait. And sure enough, he didn't register a point against Dallas on Saturday. But over his last 2 games, Kells was on fire. Again, 4 points against Nashville, 1 point against the St. Louis Blues, a big goal. The only goal of the game for the Utah Hockey Club against his hometown team. That's cash money, by the way. That's money in the bank, betting that Clayton Keller is going to have a strong performance against his hometown team. He's from Chesterfield, Missouri. So you just know when he gets in front of his home crowd, his friends and family, is going to really put on a strong performance. And sure enough, he did to reach 90 points. But unfortunately, the Utah Hockey Club fell to a desperate St. Louis team that needed a win and needed to avoid having their playoff hopes be contingent on someone else's good luck. But the Blues needed that win. They came out desperate. Ian Cole spoke about this after the game. Bill Fraser from the Salt Lake Tribune had a really nice recap of the game. St. Louis came out hungry, desperate. They put up 4 goals very, very quickly on the Utah Hockey Club before Jack Skellington, Clayton Keller scored his goal on a power play. And from there, the route continued, though. St. Louis rolled to a 6-0 win. I think that one of the funny takeaways from that game was Mikhail Sergachev giving the old salute there to the camera, walking off the ice at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis. And I'll tell you what, I actually really like that from Mikhail Sergachev, because to me, like I know it kind of looks like he's being like an a-hole or whatever, like he's being like a poor sport. But I read it a different way. I'm like, this is a dude who clearly hates to lose. He loves to win. He hates to lose. He's won Stanley Cups with Tampa Bay. He's been to the playoffs a bunch. It doesn't feel good to him to miss the playoffs. And so, I think that was just a momentary expression of frustration. And it was hilarious, by the way. I got some good social media content out of that. So you can check that out on my Instagram and TikTok. But, I think probably the story that I think we talked a little bit about, and it was kind of building towards the end of the year, and now the Utah Hockey Club has wrapped up their inaugural season. But Clayton Keller was really tremendous to end the year. And I think, to me, that's a testament to the staff at the Utah Hockey Club, the brass, if you will, the coaching staff, the management. They gave the captaincy to the right guy. And Clayton Keller did all the right things to will the Utah Hockey Club as close to a playoff berth as they possibly could have. The goal for the Utah Hockey Club, let me remind you people, was not to make the playoffs, was not to win a Stanley Cup. General Manager Bill Armstrong, who I had the pleasure of meeting, by the way, and I was very happy about that, stated very clearly, set the expectations right on the money at the start of the year. He said, our goal is to be in meaningful games and have a chance at the playoffs towards the end of the year. And that's exactly what happened. And as I was saying, Clayton Keller was the engine that was driving the boat here, getting Utah Hockey Club on the doorstep of the playoff. Let me just show you like his game log here in the regular season. And I really love how they do this on ESPN. They break it down by months. And as you can see here, for the month of April, the games that Clayton Keller played, it was his best month of the year. I think that's pretty easy to say. In 8 games, had 11 points, including 6 goals, 5 assists, just 2 penalty minutes, had 26 shots. And this is the impressive thing: a shooting percentage of 23.1, 3 power play goals, lots of time on ice, 18 minutes per game. 1 game-winning goal. That was against Seattle, that big goal, that other football score, the 7-1 victory over the Kraken at home. That was a Nashcast game as well. But you just see here, I love how they break it down by months here. But April was by far Keller's best month. You could see there was a little bit of ebb and flow to the season, right? I think November was a little bit tough for Kells. Had just 1 goal that month. With 11 assists, was a -5 for that month. Shooting percentage was just 4%. So he really struggled in November. Maybe he was just nervous about spending his first Thanksgiving in Utah. Like, he wasn't sure what the grocery store situation was going to be. Like, is Harmon's where you want to go to get your turkey? Do you want to go to Smith's? Do you try a Whole Foods? The Whole Foods at Trolley Square is really good, but it can get pretty expensive, right? I think all those things were weighing on Keller a lot, and being in a new place is that's tough. It's and he probably has to host people for Thanksgiving too. He's the captain. He's got that, I think he has a big house in Park City from what I've heard. So there was a lot on Keller's mind at that time. December got a little bit better for Keller. He shot a lot better, 16.7%, had 15 points, 6 goals, 9 assists. January was a better month as well, 19 points for Kells, shot 14.7%. Again, another double-digit month in February, another double-digit month in March. But I would say April, considering they only played 8 games, that was his strongest month. And I think you saw that on the ice. Utah went 6-2-2 in its last 10 games. They had a chance. They were playing in meaningful games through game 78. So they really did have a chance. We're going to just hop over here to the standings really quick. Utah's going to finish 6th in the Central Division in the Western Conference with 89 points. That's a 12-point increase from when this club was playing as the Arizona Coyotes last year. I don't know if you guys knew this, but, because I know a lot of you guys haven't been paying attention, but this team played as the Arizona Coyotes last year. There was a whole ordeal. They played in a little rinky-dinky arena, right? All that. We talked about this episode 1 of SLC Puck. But they made a 12-point jump is pretty huge, especially when you're considering I think this was actually a very challenging situation for a lot of guys on the Utah Hockey Club to be uprooted. They had to, completely change their lives within a span of a few months, find housing, get used to driving on I-15, 215. What the heck's the difference? I got to take 215 to get to the Oval in Kearns. What's going on? And then I-80 from Park City. And then you make the change to I-15 to go down to the Delta Center. Right, it's very confusing. We get it. And we know at the start of the year, the team was very, I guess, I don't know if nervous is the right word, but I guess they weren't in the right mindset to be successful at home. They talked a lot about how they really wanted to make a good impression on the crowd at Delta Center. So they weren't playing as well at home as people thought. But down the stretch, they got a lot better around the midway point. I think Andre Tourigny noted that since the Four Nations face-off break, Utah was actually the 7th best team in the National Hockey League. And I kind of believe that. I think they really found their stride after that tournament. I think it did help that Clayton Keller was probably a little bit frustrated that he didn't get to be a part of the pageantry and the excitement and the fun. And he saw his buddies, the Kachuk brothers, they are buddies, by the way, become international superstars over, the course of that tournament. So Keller played with a chip on his shoulder, particularly in games against the Minnesota Wild, which is managed by Bill Guerin, who picked the team for the United States in the Four Nations face-off. But Utah finishes its season, 82 games, the inaugural season, with a 38-31-13 record, 89 points. Goal differential -10 for the year. Not too bad. I mean, they did give up some football type scores at the end there. 6-1 loss to St. Louis definitely hurts their goal differential. But again, over their last 10 games, went 6-2-2. I think they finished their first year pretty strong. And Bill Armstrong is a little prescient, I'd say. I would say if I were to ask anyone on earth what the winning lottery ticket numbers are going to be, I'm going to ask Bill Armstrong first, because it seems like he's pretty prescient, has a pretty good read on what's happening in the world. So he was right on the money with that. And I think that was pretty key for the Utah Hockey Club to have the expectations in the right place. And I think that helped the fans be really happy with the outcome of the season. And I think by all conceivable measures, it was a huge success for the Utah Hockey Club this season. I think we just like the moments in my mind just stand out. I think there's a lot of games and singular events in the games that stand out in my memory. Just glancing through the game log here. I mean, October 8th against Chicago, the inaugural game, that was to me really special. I had just started. I hadn't just started, but I was about 50 episodes deep into SLC Puck. Had no idea what it was going to lead into. I hadn't been contacted by KSL.com yet. I hadn't been contacted by the Utah Hockey Club yet to be a part of Nashcast. So I was just continuing to do the podcast for fun at that point. And it was just, I really wanted to be at the opening game. So Dustin, one of our great listeners, and his wife were nice enough to sell me their tickets at cost, their extra tickets. And that made it so me and my sister, my nephew could go. We wouldn't have been able to go otherwise, to see the 5-2 victory for the Utah Hockey Club. We got there pretty dang early too, on a Tuesday. I got out early from work to go check it out. Shabuzi was playing in the air. I've come to really love that song by Shabuzi, a bar song. You'll remember I did one episode, the episode before that game. I played Shabuzi and had the indoor snow here in SLC Puck Studios. That was a gigantic mess. I did think about doing that again for this episode of SLC Puck, but I have like a lot of expensive equipment now. I was just using my crappy old computer at the time, so it wasn't super like, whatever. I didn't care. Now I've made all these investments that I can't put, fake snow on. So sorry guys. I don't know if the fake snow will ever make a return, but I mean, other memories stand out, like the second home game of the year was an overtime win over Boston. I believe Michael Kesselring had the game winning goal in that one. That was a special one as well. Just looking through here. The next one that really stands out in my mind is the November 13th victory over Carolina. We all remember that was the Karel Vejmelka coming out party, had 49 saves, stood on his head. And that was really where the veggie movement started. Like up until that point, Connor Ingram had been taking the majority of the starts. I believe that was let's do the math here. That was game 16 for Utah, and only the fourth start of the year for Karel Vejmelka, and it was his biggest one. He made himself a ton of money with that game. And I think the thing that people don't talk about enough in that game was the fact that Utah was on the penalty kill for 9 minutes in the third period. The game, and there was a point where Carolina, the penalties were such that they could have scored at will. A goal would not have taken the Utah guy out of the box. So Utah was really in danger of losing that game. But they pulled out a huge victory. And we all saw the iconic, Karel Vejmelka pose, when he was announced as the first star. And by the way, yes, that is a Karel Vejmelka goalie pad right there that I have behind me. So that was a pretty cool pickup. Gosh, how cool would it be if those were the pads that he wore for the Carolina game? I'm sure there's a way I could photo match these to some game. They might have only been used in a practice. I don't know, but they're pretty damn cool. I'll say that. I was pretty psyched to get the veggie pads. Again, and guys, I'm going to hop into the chat. I can see your comments right there. So I'm going to address these, in just a minute here after I have my special guest on. But other memories that stand out, not too long after that, the Washington Capitals were in town. Utah lost that game 6-2, but Alex Ovechkin scored 2 of his goals en route to becoming the all-time scoring leader in NHL history as far as goals go. He scored 2 of those at Delta Center. He's also injured in that game on a hit by Jack McBain. That was an interesting one. Another game that stands out in my memory is the road game against the Vegas Golden Knights on November 30th. a 6-0 victory in which Jackson Stauber actually made history as the first shutout thrower or goaltender in Utah Hockey Club history with his victory there. The December 18th game against Vancouver, that was a big one. The barn was packed, an overtime win. I believe I did a show shortly after that game ended. More games that were very memorable in my mind. Games against Winnipeg were huge. I thought Utah played spectacular against Winnipeg at Delta Center, which is a really encouraging thing considering Winnipeg has won the President's Trophy as a team with the best overall record in the standings at the end of the regular season. They put a lot of goals behind Connor Hellebuck, who has a great chance of being the National Hockey League's MVP winner, the Hart Trophy winner. We'll see how that shakes out. Another big one, the February 4th overtime win over Philly when Gunnar gets his OT goal right at the death of the game. That was very exciting. More wins over Vancouver in February. Tough losses as well. Losses to Anaheim and San Jose in overtime, I think, were very costly to the Utah Hockey Club. They also lost an OT game at Chicago on March 7th. And we'll do a full post-mortem on this, guys, later in the year. Silver Whale, thank you. I love your name, by the way. I'll get to your question here in just a minute. And you have more questions, guys, go ahead and throw them in the chat. But more memorable games. The April 1st win against Calgary was huge. The Utah was in the thick of the playoff race at that point. That was an important win, as was the win over Winnipeg on April 5th, the 4-1 win. Again, they really showed Connor Hellebuck what was what. And I think the other one that really stands in my mind was the April 10th loss in a shootout to the Nashville Predators, last game of the season at home for the Utah Hockey Club in their inaugural season. But so much gratitude and happiness felt in the building. That was a Nashcast night for us. So that was a ton of fun. And so, here we are. Episode 100 between the 15th of April, 2024 to now, managed to get 99 episodes of SLC Puck done. That was pretty, I know it seems like a lot, but it really did fly by. I guess it was a lot. Like the work of doing a podcast, with by yourself can be a heavy lift. A lot of research went into every episode. I tried to make every episode good, if not great, maybe just have like a funny visual quirk in every one of them. I mentioned we did indoor snow. I ripped my shirt off and exposed my chest a couple times. Thank goodness I've been going to the gym a lot more in the last couple of years. But sitting here, episode 100 is pretty awesome, pretty fun. A lot of people I need to say thank you to. Probably the biggest ones more than anyone are my mom and sister. For their support. I don't do this alone. Like I get a lot of help from my mom and sister. They help with props, with ideas, with support, with the space in my mother's basement. I somehow convinced her that like I needed to occupy this space as a podcast studio, and it's a big mess sometimes. And I really do appreciate my mom for that. And my sister, I joke that my sister is actually the brains behind the operation. She's the CEO, she's the COO, she's the chief marketing officer. She's not the chief finance officer because there are no finances to officiate, but my sister Sammy does a huge amount of work for the show and huge amount of support. All the fun little props are from Sammy. She's extremely creative person. She loves to use the Cricut machine and the heat press to make t-shirts and all this kinds of good stuff that's been used on SLC Puck and on Nashcast and Kevin, my nephew, who you may have seen on the show. He's been a huge part of it too. And you're totally right, Jordan. Family is the best. And I humbly submit that I probably have the best family in the world. I drive them crazy a lot, but they stick with me through thick and thin. So I really do appreciate them. And of course, like I have to, this is where I might get teary eyed. Like I have to give like a lot of credit to my dad. All I've heard the last, 12 months now is just how proud dad would be of me. And, Sammy's sitting here with me and her eyes are getting wet. So, I think she knows what's coming, but, I think that's just true. Like, I think our dad would be really proud of us and would be proud of me. And, I think he's still like involved. Like, it's so weird. Like, I'm not, and again, you're going to think what kind of hockey podcast is this? Like what's going on here? But, I don't know. Like, I'm not like a spiritual person usually, like by most standards, but like when my dad passed away in 2023, that kind of, I think helped changed me in a lot of ways. That was kind of like a very, seminal event in my life. And I do kind of feel like my dad is involved in all this and like just making a lot of magical things happen. I don't know how the heck that works. But I do feel that. I have felt that for, oh, Jordan, you're gonna make me tear up. And this Jordan guy's firing on all cylinders here. I do think my dad is proud of me, and I hear that all the time, and I never get tired of hearing it because that's kind of like what means the most to me. That's like what I've always wanted to do is make my dad proud of me. So thank you, Jordan, and thank you to everybody who's said that to me. I got a really nice video message from Skeet Heatley, who you might know as Clean Hits Kenny from the Clean Hits podcast. He sent me a really nice video on Twitter today. I'm not going to play it because it's a little self-aggrandizing, but really appreciate everybody who congratulated me. The Clean Hits guys have been awesome. It's been amazing to meet all of them in person in Utah. Not all together, but I've slowly collected all the gauntlets, the stones, the Infinity Stone. See, I'm a Disney guy, but I don't know a lot about the Avengers, Marvel. But I slowly acquired all the Infinity Stones for the Clean Hits podcast gauntlet. I think that's what it's called, right? And so that was a lot of fun. I really appreciate Michael Wolf, who does NHL Utah on Instagram and does the Utah Hockey Podcast. He's become a really good friend of mine. The Puck Drop boys have been awesome to collaborate with and to bounce ideas with. And, I have little text threads with all the different podcasts too. It might surprise you guys that we're all kind of friends and we're all cheering for each other. Cole Bagley of KSLsports.com is a good buddy of mine. Brogan Houston, Ryan Miller of KSL.com. I owe him like a huge debt of gratitude, along with Josh Furlong of KSL.com for coming up with the idea to put the show on KSL.com, which was like really shocking to me. Like I think that was probably the moment where I thought like this could be a thing, or that like I had a chance of making this work. So that was, I really appreciate those guys for seeing that and making that happen. I'll give a shout out to everybody else on Press Row. Matt Coma's a terrific writer. He does stuff with NHL.com. Chase Beardsley has been coming up from Arizona to cover the team, which is pretty incredible. Belle Fraser, the Salt Lake Tribune, is like insanely talented and really good at her job. So I think the coverage around the Utah Hockey Club is really good. And it's kind of just an honor to be with that group from time to time. And we'll be all together tomorrow for player exits at the Utah Hockey Club. That's going to be a long day. We're going to start at 8. We're going to be at the Delta Center hearing from everybody on the team, giving an interview, and I'll report back on the next episode 101, with what was said in the locker room and all that good stuff. And then we'll do some end of year awards. So, and we'll keep going through the summer. The plan is to keep going through the summer. I promised my wonderful advertiser, Payne Anthony Creative Jewelers and Jonathan's Jewelry, that I would keep doing episodes through the summer, and I like doing it anyway. So, we're not planning on taking any shows off through the summer. We'll find things to talk about, and we'll find ways to fill time and make it interesting and fun. Speaking of Payne Anthony, like I got to just show them a little love right here. They've been a terrific supporter of the show for a few months now. We've been doing this awesome giveaway. It was really important to me when I picked like a sponsor. I wanted my first sponsor to be someone that could really benefit my listeners, and I think we found a really great giveaway, right? So, there's this QR code here. If you're watching, scan it right now. You'll be pretty amazed what happens. I set this up. I was really proud of myself for figuring this out. But you scan the QR code. It'll generate a message in your message app. All you got to do is hit send on that. You'll be in this raffle to win a $250 gift card. We give gift cards away after every episode. We contact the winner, invite them to come check out Payne Anthony Creative Jewelers at Charlie Square or Jonathan's Jewelry in Cottonwood Heights. Get $250 off. And guess what? Even if you don't win the gift card, you get $100 off just for mentioning SLC Puck. So scan this QR code right now. Just leave it there for just a second to give you a chance. I also have it in the other corner, with the whole time while I'm talking. But they've been Payne Anthony Creative Jewelers and Jonathan's Jewelry. They've been terrific partners for SLC Puck. So we really do appreciate that. And if you need more information on the giveaway, just go to slcpuck.com. Anyway, now that we pay some bills, let's get back to the show. And again, really appreciate you guys who have been in the chat. I know I've been ranting incessantly now for 31 minutes, so this is going to be one of the longer shows. I do want to get to your questions. Thank you, Eli. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Preston. Preston, I'll get to your question here in just a minute. Silver Whale, I hope I answered your question just a bit. But again, if you guys have any more questions, just throw them in the chat. But I'm going to invite my special guest to come over right now. And yes, I did probably give it away. It's my sister, Samantha. Hi, Samantha. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, let me
this way. I was like, I got to scan
win. Yeah, you got it right over your head. Here.
Like Mike Wazowski in Monsters Inc., where they intentionally put everything over his face.
I could scoot over a little bit too. Well, I could do, hey, sorry, you painted. I just did your ad read, so we can hide that for a second. Anyway, so I mean, it's just first of all, I said thank you. So I just want to say it again. Like, thank you for being a huge part of what we've been doing. Sammy really does make this thing go. She holds me accountable, responsible. This is now what I do full time, is try to scrap this together. And Sammy has been super helpful at watch parties and everything we do together. So, and we've just been having fun together.
It's just fun.
It's just fun. It's just like, this has been like really good for us and good for Mom, I think, and good for Kevin. And,
I think Kevin ended up going to like 10 games this year.
Oh, wow. Lucky little guy. Yeah.
That's a lot for a 2-year-old.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It helped that we didn't have to buy him any tickets. We just had to sit on, we just bought, we did a few of those, we did the appropriate amount of, inexpensive tickets and had Kevin sit on your lap. But that was a lot of fun. We got a little jersey for Kevin too. But Sam, I want you to serve an important role here. And look at that. You have a lot of people saying hi. You have a lot of fans. You're becoming a celebrity in your own right. So that's kind of cool. But maybe I'm sure like some people have some questions about SLC Puck. And so maybe let's just get the show warmed up here. Hey Lucas, good to see you, man. I was excited to see you hop in. Maybe you could just help me recap the year that we just had doing SLC Puck. Maybe we could help me jog my memory. Help me take a stroll down memory lane.
So I was trying. I know. I have a jersey with my own name on it. Yes. Sorry, we have to answer this first, but I do have the other half of the veggie pads in my room. Just so we know.
Put your attention back on me.
Continue. I was trying to look for the text message because I thought you would send it to me in a text, but I think you actually called me on the phone to tell me that you had, created SLC Puck and you had gotten the website and the Instagram handle and everything. And I was just trying to think about that moment. It wasn't officially announced yet that the team was coming to Utah, but there was a lot of speculation that was going on. And so do you remember what was going on in your brain? Why did you decide to jump on this so quick?
Yeah. Well, terrific question. Thank you. It was funny. I just, as the anniversary of the show was approaching on the 15th, I went back in my receipts to try to figure out how it all came together. And what I deduced from checking my emails was that I bought the URL slcpuck.com on April 11th, 2024. And what happened, it was it feels so romantic to remember it. Like I was just taking a walk in Sugar House Park, as I do, right by the stream that goes down the middle. And I was just like, I was feeling like a lot of excitement because like the rumor was really starting to become true. I think like they had reported in the Daily Face-Off that like the talks of getting the Coyotes to Utah and being sold to Ryan Smith were real. Like it was like the framework had been established, I think was the language they used. So like it was coming. Like it was like, it was starting to feel real. And just, as I've talked about on the show, like, just with my hockey background and background working in sports media, I just kind of felt like I was like, what? I kind of felt like that, like I had to do something. I just felt like it was like I felt like it was like a calling almost, you know what I mean? I was like, there's gotta be something I can do. So I just like, I was looking for like the way to do it. I was like, it's funny. Like I kind of didn't want to do a podcast. I was like, maybe I could just find a way to like I kind of like sketching out ideas for like shirts and stuff. Like that's why there's a merch shop. So I thought like SLC Puck was just going to be like a merch shop. And I just, as I saw people, and I should go back to how I got the name, but like, I just saw people, were already starting to talk about what the name would be for the team on Twitter. And I saw a few people bring up SLC Puck. And I was like, oh, that's pretty effing brilliant because it's a play off of SLC Punk.
Yes.
That iconic movie from like the early 90s, which is a movie I love, by the way. And I was like, holy hell, that's like a really good idea. Like, like you could do anything with that name, related to the team. And so again, just walking through the park and thinking, I went to GoDaddy.com just to see if SLCpuck.com was available. Holy hell, it was $20 too.
Yes.
I was like,
you jumped on it so fast.
I didn't even hesitate. I pulled out my wallet and like punched in the credit card information. I was like, and then just like, I was so scared, like in that little stretch between like seeing it was available and like getting my wallet out and punching in the credit card information that it was going to be gone.
Yeah.
But I locked it down. And
I think you called me right after that because you were like, I just bought this website and like.
And here's the other thing. Like this was like also the crazy part. Like I was like excited to get the website for one. And I was like, if I really want to like make it grow, I need the social media handles.
Yes.
Like I need SLC Puck. And just one by one, they were all still available. They was available on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. I was like, this is knucking futz. Like, I can't believe this was all kind of just like sitting here for me. And I think like having like it's a really good name. I think like having this name like helped me get excited about like doing something with it. And I think it helped like get people in the door a little bit too, and kind of continues to do that. Because if I had just called it like the Austin Facer Hockey Podcast, no one would have given a crap. No one would have cared.
Should we talk about podcasts of the past from Austin?
Yeah, I've ventured in other podcasting, just experiments, right? But so yeah, I mean, it was just kind of like magical that like all the like the name was just sitting there for me in all its forms. And again, I called you afterwards. I was like so excited. Like I have this name. I don't really know what to do with it, but like I think I need to do something with it. So just ran home and opened up.
We were just hopeful that the team was really going to come here because we didn't know at that point.
I knew they were coming. I knew they were coming. But I was like, I just ran home and started working. I got on Photoshop and like made the logo. I knew I had to have like a punky look to play off of SLC Punk.
Yep.
And built out a lot using, DALL-E, Chat GPT. That was really helpful to build out some of the graphic elements. But it was just like extremely exciting. Like I remember like shaking because I knew the name was good and I knew there was something that could be done with it. So yeah, that was real. And then I remember like every day like after work or like when I had free time between like the 11th and the 15th, I was just kind of conceptualizing, and then I decided let's just do a podcast and just maybe that can help me sell the merch is what I thought. And it kind of does, not that much, but that was kind of how it played out with getting SLC Puck off the ground and getting the first episode recorded before the team was officially announced was kind of something I was like really proud of too, because I think they got officially announced on the 18th. SLC Puck's first episode was the 15th, so the show is actually older than the team, which is something I'm proud of. Yeah.
Another thing I thought about while you were talking, I don't know if it's really a question, but we've explained this a couple times, like we were a big hockey family growing up, and like I don't think people realize how much of our life that was. Like Dad was at the rink every single day. Like we were there constantly, for hockey, doing everything. And it was kind of a weird thing once you graduate from high school and that hockey season was over. Hockey just kind of left our lives for a while. And, it was something we were like, oh yeah, we used to do this and stuff. But I think having this NHL team here has kind of helped our family fall back in love with the sport. And we love the sport because it has happy memories of us together. So I don't know if you just want to touch on that a little bit, but it just like, for me, it's like, wow, we've really enjoyed this activity together and we get to do it again. So
yeah, there's good memories there with Dad and with friends, coaches. I mean, it was huge. Like from age 8 to 18, like we were at the rink like almost every day. Like, and I was on the ice 3 or 4 days a week. I mean, yeah, you said it perfectly. I mean, it was like the people we played hockey with were like kind of our family in a lot of ways. Like we went to, I mean, like all hockey families do. Going to tournaments together, sleepovers in hotels. Dad talked on the phone with the coach of Viewmont and DCYHA Ken Kitchen every day.
For hours,
right? Just talking about like what the team needed, the ice time situation, discipline issues from time to time too, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and then you're right. Like after high school ended, like I think just other things kind of happened. I did my mission, that went really well. And, then I just tried to find a career in sports, and just the NHL didn't exist in Utah at the time. So it was a lot of working and for the Jazz and for the Bees, the Stars.
I think the point to add too is you worked in sports for a little while when you came home from your mission after you finished college, but then you kind of drifted away from that for a while, and it wasn't really something that you enjoyed very much for a while there. And, you even when, the hockey team was first kind of speculating that they were coming, you said, I don't know if that's really something that I want to do. And so can you kind of walk through, like, I think it made you fall back in love with sports in the sports world too.
Yeah. I mean, I think I learned like, for a number of reasons that like, I didn't always love having like a boss, in some ways. And it can be like, it's just really tough to like get like,
he still doesn't like having a boss when I call him on the phone, just so you know.
That's true. No. But, like, I think I learned that like, like, I don't know. You're right. I did just kind of fall out of it. I truly thought I was never going to work in sports or sports media again. Cause after my work with, all the teams I've mentioned and working for local media outlets, like I was out of sports just for a number of different reasons. And again, like I thought I was never going to work in sports again. I thought I was going to get this public relations job at an ad agency and just do that for the rest of my career. But, yeah, just doing the show and like the shocking amount of people who liked it, and the fact that I was like just willing to do it like however, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like again, like I just like I thought just how I thought would be fun or funny, and still like a little bit informative, like brought me back into it in a big way. And I think had I done like a show like this, reporting to a boss or like trying to do it like by traditional media standards, I don't think the show would have been as enjoyable or probably not even as successful. So, yeah, I think I just kind of got lucky that I just was available to do it how I wanted. And I think that's kind of made it what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you kind of just led me to my next thought that I had. You've told us from the beginning that you were just doing this for fun. And so what is your favorite part of SLC Puck, or what's your favorite thing that you've gained from SLC Puck?
I mean, I've gained everything from this. And you're right. And just to explain why, like all this stuff that's happened to me, is stuff that I did not pursue, which has been kind of weird. It's been like the opposite of like what my sports career approach was, where I was like really approaching getting in the door. I was being like probably a little overly aggressive, and sending emails to Jazz, hire me. Hey, I'm available. Hire me, all this stuff. Never happened. But you're right. I think like just the fact that like this is fun, it's enjoyable. It's pretty organic and authentic. I think like I don't know. I trust myself enough that like I can just explain it in a funny, weird way. And I think people really, really like it. And like things just are like coming my way in like a weird way. Like just like, and I'm just like learning to just like relax and let things happen for me. And it's been like, so doing it this way has been so fun. Like I was shocked when KSL.com asked if they could post the show on their website to legitimize it. Nashcast someone just reached out to me about that. And then just all the other like stuff that's happened, like the brands, that have come my way to like work with, it's just kind of just happened naturally. And like, again, I think it's just because it's just been fun. Like it's not forced. It's not trying to be anything it's not. It's just it is what it is. And it's been really, really crazy to watch that. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was like,
Yes.
Sometimes I just like rant.
Well, you're coming up on 52 minutes, so maybe we should go through the chat.
Okay.
Questions. The first one: do you ship to Texas?
Jordan, yeah, I believe they ship anywhere. I'm not. I'll have to check what the furthest order I've sent away is, but I should be clear. Like the SLC
And
Puck
they
shop
ship from the U.S. Just if you're worried about things.
Yeah, I don't have any of the stuff on hand. I just found a company that does print on demand where they just make up the single product that gets ordered, just that one copy of it and send it to whoever ordered it. So that's been nice because I don't have a place to put, a million hats that I'm not sure are going to sell or not. So that's been kind of a nice. So yeah, we can send it to Texas. No big deal, Jordan.
Someone says you should do 24-hour live stream. That could be fun. A day in the life of Austin and just.
I guess. Yeah. I mean,
it's kept it live like while you're sleeping.
Yeah. That's like kind of like a big trend that I read about. Like the people who like sleep on Twitch and like they have like their room rigged. So like if people make donations, like the sirens will go off or like water will fall on the person. Like I should rig the room like that in a way. Just where
except like the way that you sleep, you like your mouth is open. You're like.
You've seen me napping on the couch a lot. That's how you know that.
Yes.
Yeah. I am a snorer. Sleep apnea. What can I say, guys?
Yeah. Yam Yams stay or go. I hope he stays.
I believe it's talking about Kyler Yamamoto.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I think he's a little too small, is my guess. I think this team wants to get bigger and a little bit heavier next season. I think there's going to be. They're going to have to make some decisions like who they want to bring back, who they don't. I don't think we'll see this entire team come back. I do like what I saw out of Kyler Yamamoto, but I think he's a little bit redundant with certain guys on the team. I think like Michael Carcone plays like a very similar game. They're keeping Liam O'Brien on the roster for a few years. He signed a 3-year deal after getting the place buzzing last April. So I think Yams is going to be one of those they're gonna make a decision on, and I'm not sure he'll be back.
For sure. What are we going to expect to see from here until next season? You touched on this a little bit, but just kind of any summer plans right now? Or
just
you'll
like
still be doing twice a week.
Yep, still do twice a week. Just a mad scramble really to fill time and still make it fun. We'll find different ways. But I want to experiment with like, doing stuff with like the video game or like, we'll cover the Stanley Cup playoffs and there's going to be more news for the Utah Hockey Club this summer, right? Like I think we're going to know what the team name is within 30 days. Yeah. Honestly, I think we're going to know that before the NHL draft. So that'll be something we cover and talk about. Again, I know next question, right? What's going to be, my guess is Mammoth, but it's just a guess. That's really what I think it's going to be. It's either that or Utah Hockey Club, and I tend to think that they're going to pick Mammoth as the name. But then we'll do the draft, and we'll look at the schedule when that comes out, and I think that we'll see like a flurry of moves as well on the roster, and try to just get some guests, virtually. I talked to a lot of the folks who do this in the media. I'm sure we'll get Tyson Nash on at some point as well. But just keep on going. No, this is what I do now. So keep keeping it going.
The Delta Center officially closes. Their last event is on
Yeah.
Friday, so we'll have some
Renovation talks. Yep. What the new seating arrangement will look like. Yeah, good call.
Yeah. Okay. Who is your pick for the Stanley Cup this year?
I don't, it's going to be interesting. I think some teams are going to have to learn how to play in the playoffs, I think the Jets are probably the sexy pick, right? Cause they have the best record. They have the best goaltender, but, Hellebuck didn't play very well in the playoffs last year. They got bounced by Colorado early. I think Colorado's a really dangerous team. I think they're starting to get healthy at a good time. I really like their lineup from top to bottom. Gabriel Landeskog, who's their captain, who's been out for a couple of years, has just now been reactivated to the NHL. So I think he's going to play an important role. Colorado is going to be a really interesting team to watch. But, I think the Florida Panthers did a lot to make their team better. Seth Jones, Brad Marchand, guys like that. So I wouldn't surprise me to see Colorado, Florida in the Stanley Cup final. And I think perhaps the Colorado Avalanche might win. Or, maybe this is Connor McDavid's year with the Oilers. I think he's eventually got to get one. So, but I kind of just have this feeling that the Avalanche are kind of the dangerous team to watch out for.
All right. Just a shout out to
Eli. Yeah. Since day one. Wow. Holy hell. What's that been
yeah.
like? Nice, dude. Appreciate it.
Let's see. There's a couple people asking, what player exits
Player
are.
exits, yeah. A player. It's just basically the player's last real formal sit down with the media before they go on summer break. So it's kind of like a dog and pony show. They've got the podium where you see Coach Bear talk after the game, and they'll have each of the players go up one by one to just answer some questions from the media. Those are not going to be open to the public, but I think you can watch them on SEG Plus and Utah Hockey Club Plus. So you might hear my voice asking a couple questions. You might not, but I'll be there taking notes and getting content for SLC Puck. That starts bright and early, and it's going to suck. It's really, a
long day.
It's going to be awful. It starts at 8 a.m. and I think they're serving us breakfast and lunch, but, I don't know. It's just, it's a long time to just sit in one chair. It's legitimately probably gonna take 4 hours to get through everybody. Probably longer. So anyway.
All right. Jordan has a question that I think you're going to do a couple episodes maybe about this. Any bold predictions for the team for this off season? Players leaving, trades, signings, team name you covered.
Stay tuned, Jordan. We'll dive. That's how we get you coming back.
Yes.
Call that a tease in the business. Yeah, we'll get you back, Jordan.
Yeah. And then Eli said loves Nashcast.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up, Eli. I just wanted to say, those of you who watch Nashcast, you know how cool and awesome it is. Just like Tyson, I have really, of all the people I've met this year who are I guess elevated, interesting, noteworthy people. Tyson's by far my favorite. He's just the
he
cool...
paid him to say that.
He did. Yeah, he did. And he paid me a lot too. Yeah. So I'm going to really stroke his ego pretty good. But Tyson's the greatest dude. He takes really good care of me as his co-host. He really wants me to succeed and be successful. And, it's funny, he has this reputation as being the most hated guy in the NHL, and I love him.
He's a softie.
He's an absolute darling. He's a sweetheart.
Yes.
I hope he doesn't take offense to this, but he is just such an unbelievably cool dude. He took me out to a awesome steak dinner about a month ago. We went to Capitol Grill together. That was for me one of the highlights of the year was just getting a steak with Tyson and our producer Craig Amazine, and he just he makes me feel like I belong, and for me that's great because I don't always feel like that because it's again my head is kind of spinning, everything that's happened to me over the last year, like all the people I've met and like all the cool things I've gotten to do is like, it's kind of mind boggling. And I like, and what's crazy is there's just going to be more, you know, we're going to ramp up Nashcast next year. We're going to do more shows. We did 9 games last year. We want to do maybe twice as many next year. We're going to do a weekly podcast. That's going to be like an extension of the show on SEG Plus, and Instagram account is going along with that too. So that's Nashcast official. You'll see that ramp up later. The trophies on Nashcast are a lot of fun.
We have an awesome question right above that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was anyway, stay tuned for more Nashcast stuff. Yeah, you'll see more of that.
When and for who will Austin rip his shirt off for next?
For you.
Tyson Nash, we are coming for you because he loves it.
Dude, you know what's so funny? Like, if you hear on this
every
show,
single Nashcast, he has to comment.
Yeah, he does on my areola, my hairy areolas. Yes. I think he likes to call my nipples.
So I think we're coming for him next.
Yeah, we might. But what's funny about that is like Tyson does rip on me for that, but it was his idea to put that video in Nashcast in the opening sequence. Because that was the last episode I did before my first Nashcast. And I remember we were getting into our production meeting to talk about Nashcast and what was going to happen. And Tyson comes in and he's like, dude, that episode was so funny. That was so effing funny. And like he just insisted that be in the opening sequence. And I think it's because he knew it would make for like good material for him maybe. But like he's so funny and like encouraging, and we give each other like a hard time on the show, but like there's so much love there. Like I can't say enough about Tyson. He's the greatest.
Kind of just a silly question now. How do you like your steak?
Medium rare. Medium rare.
There you go.
Hot and a little pink, I'd say. Yeah.
There you go.
I think if you got to have some pink in there. If it starts to get into the territory where it's too cooked and not pink, this is hard for me. This because I've only done this once, but I had to send back a steak once because it was cooked a little too much, and if that happens, I become irate. I'm kidding, but yeah. So yeah, medium rare is the best way to get your steak cooked, I think. Not too pink either. You don't want it bloody. You want it hot and pink. Yes, you know what I'm talking about, Jordan. Yep.
We'll probably talk about this another episode, but this is just kind of an interesting comment in regards to the name and the mascot that I've never really thought about before. So if our name is a mammoth, would you prefer the mascot to be a mammoth or a caveman that carries a wooden club around in honor of the fan base being called the Clubbers?
Why not both?
That's kind of a good idea. I kind of like that.
I think they should have both. They could have like a woolly mammoth and then his friend who is a caveman, and they could get into. Who says we need to just have one mascot?
Okay, so would you audition for the caveman? You know, we've already seen the.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great content just to do a video of my audition. I would audition. I don't know if I like all the commitments I have. If I'd be able to do it, and I don't have the athleticism to be a mascot the way that I'd be expected to be. But yeah, I would certainly audition for sure. Yeah.
Yes. How many games did you make it to this year, and are you a season ticket member? This will probably be our last question because we have hit the 1 hour mark.
Right.
So we'll probably do some wrap up.
Yeah. Thanks, Tanner. I'm not a season ticket holder. We did give that some thought when the prices were announced. But I mean, I think as a lot of people found out, they were just kind of crazy. That's just something that just like we wouldn't have been able to.
It was kind of hard at the time knowing too, like exactly the viewpoints. You were able to go in and kind of see where the seats were, but it's still like
I would have been annoyed to buy season tickets with the obstructed view. I think perhaps like in the future, like maybe we will invest in those and just maybe have something that's like part of the show. Maybe should the show really take off, that's got to happen first. Yeah. But no, I'm not a season ticket holder. That was kind of like why I started like working, like as often as I could for KSL.com, just covering the games, written on KSL.com, just to get in the building and just be a part of it. I got to go to the Philly game to see Gunther's goal in overtime. I saw a couple of games where the Jets were in town. So no, I'm not a season ticket holder. If I had to guess how many games I went to, so I did 9 Nashcasts this year. We did the season opener against Chicago. That's 10. I don't think we were back in the building. The Washington, actually I was back on October 30th because that was my Nashcast audition in the studio. So I was there for that. So that's 11. I was there for the Washington game. That was when I got my promo pictures taken like that. That was like really embarrassing, weird moment on the 18th. So I saw Ovechkin and I had good seats for that one. So what's that? That's 12. And then I probably covered, I'd say maybe 6 or 7, maybe 8 games for KSL.com. So I was probably around 20 games at Delta Center during the season. So I'd say I probably got to maybe half of the home games this year. So I'm realizing that it's pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah, I mean it's a different experience doing Nashcast because I'm in the studio, not in the seating area. I'm effectively watching the game on TV while I'm in the building. But I was in Delta Center for about 20 games this year.
Awesome. Guess do you want to wrap it up? It looks like lots of questions about what's going to happen during the off season, and I think that's kind of going to be a stay tuned.
Because
we're going to have episodes all throughout the summer. We'll talk lots of off season.
Types
things.
Yeah, and thank you for holding me accountable too. Yeah, you'll make sure that I stay on task doing that. So the schedule is going to continue Wednesdays and Sundays, and then more stuff with Nashcast will be happening in the summer and into the season. So I'll be a busy boy. Lots of hockey in my life now. But I'm super lucky and just grateful for it all. So again, just like huge thank you to everybody who tuned in and watched. We had some people who were with us like the whole hour. So to give me an hour of your time on a school night too is pretty cool. So again, just really do appreciate everybody who has watched and who will watch the replay and listen to this on Apple and Spotify and who follows me on social media at SLC Puck, the merch and all that stuff. So just feeling like really grateful for the love. I still don't expect anything. I didn't expect anything. I don't expect anything. And I got in the world. And so I really do appreciate that. Just a big thank you. You don't have your cans on, so you're not, that's industry term for headphones, just so we're clear.
Yes.
But I think there's only like one way to say goodbye to everybody. And, it's by playing some bluesy.
Oh yes, of course.
So, thanks everybody.
My baby born a Birkin. She's been telling me all night long. Gasoline and groceries, the list goes on and on. This 9 to 5 ain't working. Why the hell do I work so hard? I can't worry about my problems. I can't take them when I'm gone. 1, here comes the 2 to the 3 to the 4. Tell them bring another round, we need plenty more. 2 stepping on the table, she don't need a dance floor. Oh my, good Lord. Someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey. They know me and Jack